Today we will discuss about a very important way of investment in mutual fund, especially even though this can be applied in many other investment option, which is called as a systematic investment plan. Shortly, we call that SIP. Now, before that we move further, we must go through how actually the markets behave. Especially, I'm talking about stock market. How do stock market behave? So, in stock market, the stock market never moves like in upward direction only. It moves through upward and downward direction. And what is a more important thing to be noted here is that it is not that the stock market will move in unidirection. It will move in upward and downward trend, and therefore we have to find a way that in this upward and downward trend we are able to invest in such a manner that we have a maximum gain. Now, however, the people behave in a very different manner. So, how do people behave? And that's a very typical thing, and we discuss in a very new branch of finance which has come up, which is called as behavioral finance. That is how what is the people behavior of people when the markets behave in a very irrational manner, or people and in what people are behaving irrationally. So how actually it works? If you look at this trend of the market, so as the market starts going up, you start feeling very positive. So you start feeling very optimistic about the market. There's excitement in the market, stock market. Everybody got so thrilled, and eventually people are so happy that they start entering in the market at this level. So at this level, actually, people start entering in the market because they are so positive about the market. So I let's assume any investor, let's assume Mr. A. He was very happy with the market movement, and he has seen this growth which has happened, and therefore he actually entered at this time in the market. Now, what happens? As I mentioned, the markets never move in one direction. If they are going up, it will come down, right? So, this market starts coming down. Now, Mr. A will start feeling anxious. Ki, have I done correct? Have I done right? Have I bought my investment wrong? What my advisor has given me wrong advice? And therefore, there's anxiousness which is there. You live in a denial mode. Nahi, theek hai, fine enough. The time will come and markets will go up. Suddenly, you start fearing about various things in that case, and now then you start a fear of desperation comes up, and eventually the markets lose the stock market start crashing such a way that there is a fear, there's a panic, and therefore in that panic, Mr. A, who have invested in this at this level, ends up selling at this level, and eventually he suffered a loss in this entire exercise. Ideally, what should have been done? Ideally, he should have invested at this point of time, right? He should have invested at this point of time to gain advantage. He should have invested at this point of time to have some advantage. But actually, what has happened, and this is not happening to one investor. This is a problem with many retail investors. So this is an issue which many retail investors are facing, that they are getting fooled by the market behavior, but rather it's not the market behavior. This is their behavior which is actually leading them to the problem. So something need to be done so that this can be taken care of. Now, how this can be taken care of? There are various ways of managing those finances or managing the investment in these turbulent times. And one of the ways of doing it is through SIP. So let's understand what SIP is. So as I mentioned, it is one of the ways in which one can enter in the mutual fund scheme, but desirably in that scheme in which is risky, maybe an equity scheme. And one of the another advantage it is that you can invest a very small amount. So now today these AMCs are allowing you to invest even up to rupees 500 rupees per month also. Some of the AMC have started even daily SIP. Clear? So you can invest daily a fixed amount, weekly a fixed amount, fortnightly, monthly, quarterly, depending upon your customization. And it brings, more importantly, disciplined way of investing. But the biggest advantage why people invest in SIP and why one should invest in SIP is the benefit which is called as a rupee cost averaging. Clear? Or in other connotation which can also be referred as a dollar cost averaging. So one biggest advantage why people invest in SIP, or one should invest in SIP, is to take the benefit of this, which is called dollar cost averaging. Now, what is dollar cost averaging? It means you are buying at a lower level. As I mentioned, it is always better if you're going in the market, you don't know how the prices will behave. It's best you buy maximum at this point. Clear? Because when you're buying maximum at this point, your average cost of holding will go down. And eventually, when the markets will once upon any time will go up, because your average cost has gone down, you are able to make money in this. So this mechanism is called as a rupee cost averaging or dollar cost averaging. Let's understand this with an example. So I'll try to explain this with an example, and you can see here is let me just show you an example. I'll take an example that somebody wants to invest in a lump sum mode. Let's say rupees 2,40,000. So 240,000 rupees a person wants to invest. Now he has two options. Either he can make a one-time investment. So I've taken example. It's a one-time investment the person has made, or he can go through a SIP mode. Now this is a example to understand how it works. So I have taken the movement at the time when a person wants to invest in the this mutual fund scheme. The NAV of the scheme is rupees 25. What is the NAV? I have made a separate video for this. You can refer that video to understand how the NAV is computed. So anyhow, so at this point we are discussing the NAV of a scheme at this point of time is rupees 25. So as an investor, if you want to invest rupees 240,000 rupees, and you want to enter the entire amount 240,000 rupees, so NAV rupees 25, how many units you will get? So I will get rupees 240,000 divided by 25 rupees NAV. I will get 9600 units. Clear? Now, what will happen in case a person uses an SIP route? In SIP route, what he does, so this is, let's assume this is Mr. A. So this is actually this is Mr. A. So let me take this, give this, this investment has been done by Mr. A. So Mr. A what has done? So Mr. A has actually invested rupees 2,40,000 rupees. NAV today is rupees 25. So 240,000 rupees divided by 25. He is getting today 9,600 units. This is what he will get it. However, the Mr. B says, no, I will not do this. I will invest every month 10,000 rupees. Right? So this is what Mr. B is doing. So this is Mr. B's strategy is he is investing rupees 10,000 monthly. Now, but obvious, stock markets will not remain constant. They will keep on moving. So I have taken these dummy, what is called as NAVs, which are prevailing at. So this is my dummy NAVs which are prevailing. So these are my NAVs which are moving every month. Now what is happening? So 10,000 rupees allotted today, 25 is the NAV unit purchase. You divide 10,000 by 25, you purchase 400 units. So on the very first month, whereas this person purchased all his shopping he has done on the very first month, he has got 9,600 units. This person has purchased 400 units. Second month again he invests 10,000 rupees. Now the markets are fallen down, the NAV has fallen down, become 24.5. So what will happen? Same amount has been invested, so units purchase will go up, right? And the total units will be 400 plus this month purchase, the total units will be 808. Third month, again the market falls down. The market falls down, now you purchase more units. So as you can see here is this trend, as you can see from the graph also, in this trend, the stock market is falling down. So, but what is happening? What is happening if the person is persistent? He is not stopping the SIP, which is a blunder to do that at this time. You are accumulating more and more units. Clear? So if you look at this, the market comes in here, he is purchasing 526 units. At the time of when the markets were at this level, he was purchasing 400 units. When after 12 months in investing 10,000 rupees per month, now is purchasing these many units. Now, quite obvious, market will not remain at the bottom. They will fluctuate, they will go up. So every month he is acquiring certain units, and if you can see here is that the units are getting accumulated. Now I'm taking an example that after 2 years, the market reaches to the peak. So this is the trend. This you can see is the trend of the market which has been there. So the market went down, 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 then it fluctuates and then it again starts going up and here. So this is how the trend of the market has been. And this is typically how the stock markets behave. They never behave in one direction. They move up and down like this. So similarly, the markets have moved like this. And after 2 years, the NAV of my scheme has reached to 26. Now, what will happen? If I see this person has 9600 units. After 24 months, the NAV is 26. So you multiply 9600 by 26 units, 26 rupees NAV, your fund value is 249,600 rupees. Invest kitna kiya? 240,000 rupees. How much you got? You got 249,600 rupees. So a mere gain of 9,600 rupees because point to point, if you see the point to point, if you see the point to point, he started when the markets were 25 rupees NAV, he ended when the markets had a NAV of 26 rupees, and so point to point, it's almost a flat return. So it's almost a flat return which has been given in the market in these 2 years. However, a Mr. B, you can see Mr. B, the total units Mr. B has accumulated is, you can see here, total units accumulated is this much here, and the current NAV is 26. So his market value is, of the portfolio is 285,742. So look at the comparison. It's almost 45,000 more appreciation. So here the appreciation is only 9,600 because the total principal is 240,000. And more importantly, this entire amount was invested in lump sum. Here the investment was done in the installment of 10,000 rupees. So if I compute the IRR, rate of return will be much higher in case of SIP as vis-a-vis compared to the lump sum. So this is what the biggest advantage, and this benefit, why it has happened, because you look at this point, here, at when the markets were at the bottom, in this 2-year cycle, look at this point when the NAV reaches 18 units, 18 rupees, sorry. So you have purchased 555 units. That means you are purchasing more when the markets were down, and because of this, the average cost of your holding has gone up. Now we can compare the average cost. We can compute the average cost also. How can we compute the average cost? Total units, how much you have purchased. The total units I have purchased this much, and my investment is this much here. This is the investment which I have done. So my average cost will be this amount of money which I have invested total and the units which I have accumulated. So if I look at this, my average cost is 21.83. So now 21.83 is my average cost. I am selling at 26. Look at the gain which is happening. Whereas in this case, my average cost was 25. I was selling at 26. So this is how the benefit of SIP is, that you were able to reduce your average cost because you were buying more when the markets were down. So you were buying more when the markets were down, and therefore average cost is has fallen down, and that has eventually led to the benefit in the long run. Now, one can say, will the SIP will always give me good return? Not necessary, but because if you are so smart enough that you are able to invest entire your 240,000 rupees at 18 rupees NAV, you were able to time the market very well, then in that case your returns will be much higher. But the problem is, no one in the world has been able to time the market. When is the bottom is coming, when is the top is coming. So the markets, we always know, across the globe follow what is called as a, you can see here is, it follows this direction. It never, if I'm so smart enough that I'm able to time the market and I can find this is the bottom, now the markets will only go up and up, possibly then yes, a lump sum investment at this point of time might be a very good investment option. So SIP, however, markets generally tend to move in this direction, and because in this direction I'm buying at these levels, I'm buying at these levels, therefore my average cost goes down, and that's an advantage of the biggest advantage of SIP or MODIS. Now someone may say, okay, fine enough, I have a lump sum money, so lump sum money I need to invest in the market, but I want to get the advantage of SIP. So for that, we will look in the next video another mechanism which is there where you can use that mechanism also. So for this, thank you very much.